Hi, good day. I hope all of you are doing fine. I'm Patricia Aparicio, Principal Product Manager of Epicor Financials and Financial Add-ons. And today I'm going to present you Epicor Tax Connect, which is one of my finance add-ons that I'm responsible for. It is a pleasure for me to show our Epicor Tax Connect and how this solution will help you with your sales tax calculation and generate your exception certificate with our cert capture solution. As I said, this is a big opportunity for me to share a bit more about Epicor before we dig in together to solve our unique uh, business need. As you know, Epicor is committed to make, move, and sell economy and the ecosystem surrounding our customer business. We are so excited to explore how we can put our solutions to work for your business. But what is the proof that we are an industry expert? We have more than 50 years of experience in your industry, sorry. And we have a global scale with employees to support you and your customer, your peers in more than 120 countries. We focus in 5 major industries and the specialist industries within them, like manufacturing, building supply, distribution, auto, and retail. And Tax Connect, it's across all those industries. Uh, Let me take you through exact Tax Connect. So we help you to scale all the buckets in the all the industries that I mentioned. But more, we are interconnected in those specific focus areas that are related to the tax calculation. This is Epicor Tax Connect. Let me take you through our product. Nowadays, our customers face a lot of challenges within the finance area. But we believe the most stressful part is trying to follow all the rules imposed by the tax authorities. And when we talk about tax calculation, we can say that we struggle the most. We know that the sales tax is a statutory requirement. Thus, all companies are always in risk of an audit. Audits are frequently a result of back taxes or penalties. Also, we know that we have a lot of manual processes in this specific sales tax management. It's a labor intensive. That is a lot of human error leads, and that leads to inaccurate results. It is expensive because we need to hire more employees maybe to focus on that specific area to make sure the taxes are well calculated. Rules are always 100% not revenue generating activity, which means that the people that is focused on the tax calculations is not generating any revenue for our company. And in the other hand, this activity is 100% very cumbersome. And as I said, it doesn't impact our P&L at all, but impacts the expenses or the cost part of the company. So it makes a lot of sense for us to automate with Epicor Tax Connect this specific area. When we talk about sales tax, we are talking about a specific area that is very complicated. Not all the transactions are clearly visible. Each state can have many different rules on how to handle these items. So we need to keep an eye on trade-ins, cash discounts for paying earlier. I mean, which are the payment terms that we need to take in consideration for our invoices. And we have taxes on the freight charges. So we need to know which taxes applies to the specific miscellaneous charges. We also have maintenance fees or installation charges. We have write-offs, short pays, and sales tax holidays. We need to keep an eye. We need to be aware of all that type of changes that are happening on specifically on the sales tax area. But we are here to help you. And Epicor and Avalara gives you a solution to quickly and easily comply with the state and local sales taxes. Set up state with the ever-changing tax laws. Higher people productivity while reducing your risk on tax penalties. And also we can help you to build custom tax rules if it's needed. And also build the sales tax reporting. We know that the result of all the calculations that we do on the sales tax, it's reporting. And we need to report to different stakeholders. And one of them is our tax authorities. So we have a complete coverage for local, regional, and national taxation. And the most important part is available as an affordable monthly online service offering. Also, we recently come up with a new solution as part of Epicor Tax Connect, specifically on the cert capture part. Now you are going to be able to generate your certificates directly from Kinetic. Kinetic and Avalara, they are going to be linked in this specific area. You're going to manage proactively your exemption certificates. You're going to manage any campaign with your customers to ensure the current data is on the record. And you're going to limit your non-tax transactions audit liability. But more important, it's that you're going to have a single source of truth. You don't have to jump from Kinetic to Avalara to get your certificates to make sure your customers are updated in Kinetic, but as well in Avalara. We synchronize that process. So, and I'm part of the demo that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. So before to jump to the demo, you need to keep in mind that upon a successful system configuration, you will be able to manage your features and functionalities available in Tax Connect. You will use the Tax Connect to integrate your company sales tax. And you will have the complete sales tax for your customers in both Epicor and Avalara. You will be able to validate your customers, your ship to your company on a recurring schedule using our customer maintenance and bulk validation. And also you will be able to review the tax calculation details for your transactions in both system, Kinetic and in Avalara portal. So let me jump to the demo. Okay. And I'm gonna turn on a little bit. I think all of you are familiar with Kinetic, but I'm going to show you what you need to do to first configure your system to enable Tax Connect. Okay, so what I'm gonna go is I'm gonna go to company configuration. This is the main screen of company configuration. We are gonna click in modules. And once we are in modules, we are gonna go to taxes. Within the taxes, we have a card called tax interface. This card interface is the home of Avalara. So everything that is here, it's related to how to enable Tax Connect. So first, what we need to make sure is that we have a Tax Connect enable checkbox marked. That we have an URL that is provided by Avalara properly updated in this field. And as well, that we enter the information related to the security settings, which is also provided by Avalara. And in the tax calculation part, you make sure that this box is checked as tax calculator enable. And the reason why we need to make sure this checkbox it's enable, it's because we in Kinetic, we have our own tax engine. If you don't click here, our tax engine is gonna come up into the picture. Means that the taxes will be calculated by Kinetic instead of Avalara. So we need to make sure that we enable the tax calculation for Avalara or Tax Connect. For those ones that they're gonna generate exception certificate as well, we have a new configuration that you have to do, which is the cert capture enable. And of course, we can assign a tax ID prefix for us to identify in our different reports within Kinetic and Avalara that that tax was calculated with Tax Connect. And of course, we are going to instruct our system that that the taxes will be calculated by Tax Connect. Once we complete that, we are going to test the connection. Once we test the connection, and we complete the configuration, the system is going to tell you that everything was configured properly, and therefore we are ready to go for Tax Connect when we get this message. Avalara Tax Interface connection was successfully validated, means that we are ready to go. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is that you always, in your open part of the tax interface, you have this checkbox mark as ready to calculate. So the system, as soon as you enter the PO, the SS order, sorry, in this case, it calculates the taxes automatically. Otherwise, you have to do it manually. I mean, there is a way to do it manually in Kinetic, but it's better if you set up this option. So if we go to the overflow menu, you're gonna see once I enable Tax Connect, I'm gonna get this little menu here. If for any reason my connection is not established or it's not properly updated, then I won't see. This is the first site that you're gonna see if you, that you're gonna recognize that if the system was configured properly. So in this case, I can see it, and you can see there is a check mark that says the Tax Connect is enabled, and we have the test connection once again. And in this case, we have another action, let's put in the way that is validate address. When I click here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna validate my company address. As you might know, Avalara calculates the tax based on the addresses. As I mentioned earlier, it takes in consideration the jurisdiction, the state, from where the goods are shipped from to. So that's why we need to make sure that our address is properly updated. So you can see here, in my case, it's properly updated. It says the text, the result code, it's operation succeed. And I can see that my address is reflecting what Avalara needs for us to do the tax calculation. Okay, so that's what we need to do. As well, what I need to do is to go to my customer, because I need to make sure that my customer as well has the correct address, because Avalara takes in consideration my company location, my customer location, and from where I'm shipping or where to I'm shipping my goods. Okay. So in this case, I'm gonna use my customer called Epic03, which is Epicor USA. So what I did basically, I configure my customer to reflect an address that is a valid address, of course. Because what Tax Connect does, it's that validate the address, and if for any reason you enter an incorrect street or postal code or I don't know, state, that it's completely different what the system or Avalara has in their records, then it's going to send you an error. Okay, so once again, I have my overflow menu. How I know that I'm using Text Connect is because I have this little menu here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to validate my customer address, okay? And I'm gonna validate it, and the system it's going to pop up at the screen, similar to the one that we have that we had with the company configuration, and it's gonna tell me that my customer has a correct address. So I have my company and my customer, and I'm ready to calculate my taxes. So you can see here that the address is correct. If for any reason the address is not correct, what the system is gonna give you, it's gonna give you a log that says what exactly is wrong in your address for you to come back, make the proper adjustments, and run the process again. Patty, do I need to do this one by one? So because I have a lot of customers, no, you don't have to. We have the option to upload all the customers using our bulk address tax validation. So you can do it in one go. Okay, but for this purposes, we are just gonna go there. The next steps in this process, it's basically something that you already know. I'm gonna create a sales order. That sales order, of course, is gonna use my customer because there's the one that I validate the address. And I'm going to create a line using any port. In this case, I'm gonna use this port, but we don't change any process in the order. It's exactly the same. What it changes is that once I save my order, you're gonna see that the tax was calculated or is calculated by Avalara. How I know that? Because first, rate code, it's Avalara. And I can see in this case, I'm doing some transactions from Chicago. So it's taking the rates that are applicable for that specific state, and it's going to break down the taxes depending of the on the different tax rates that are applicable for Cook, Illinois, regional transport in Chicago, and it's showing all the tax rates that we need to consider when we do this when we do this type of shipment. When we go in, if you remember, my company it's located in Chicago, and my customer as well. Let me show you where my company address is, so you can see it better. So it's how the system it's going to calculate the taxes, and it's going to consider any kind of you know any kind of tax that apply to, in this case, to Chicago. Okay. And my customer it's in Chicago as well. So we are gonna ship from within Chicago, but we have different taxes. If you saw in this, we have Cook because I believe it's passing by that. It's Illinois, and we have a regional tax there, and I have another one that applies to the Chicago state. Okay, so I'm gonna ship my order as I usually do. In this case, I'm not gonna see any calculation because in our shipment that we don't show amounts. And I'm gonna go back a little bit to Tax Connect, because one of the things that as well I wanted to show you is that let's say that for any reason I don't see any calculation on taxes here. So what I'm gonna do, it's to click on the tax calculation results. If there is any error, that error is gonna be shown here. In my case, I don't have errors, but if I have any error, you're gonna see in this error why Avalara or Tax Connect are not calculating the taxes. So we give you all the, yeah, let's say of the everything for you to ensure your tax it's well calculated. Okay, so now I ship my order, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my invoice. So I'm gonna go to invoice tracker. And now I'm gonna see, because I already did it for sake to save some time. I already posted and created an invoice, but basically the invoice process is exactly the same, doesn't change. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on my invoice. And I'm gonna wait for my invoice. You know, my system sometimes get nervous because it knows that you are seeing this demo. Okay, it's coming. While I do that as well in the here in the invoice in the overflow menu, you will see as well the tax connect. So you have in the sales order, in the customer shipment, and in the invoice, the way to see if your tax is being calculated by Tax Connect. So in this case, once again, this is the invoice. If you remember, the sales order is the one that I created, and it was Chicago. So what I'm gonna go, it's here to the taxes. And you can see exactly the same taxes that you saw in the sales order. So the information is gonna be transferred to the invoice. And one of the things that I wanted to mention, it's when you create the invoice, but you haven't posted the invoice, if you go to Avalara, just give me a minute, let me go to Avalara. If you go to Avalara, if you haven't posted the invoice, it's gonna show uncommitment, which means that the invoice hasn't been posted yet. And once you post the invoice, what the system is going to show is that the invoice is committed. Okay, so let's wait. So that is a way for me to check in Avalara if the invoice that I created, it's already there. So in this case, I'm gonna switch my company. And do you remember that in the company configuration, we use some credentials, are exactly the same credentials that we are gonna use here. So the credentials that you use in Avalara are the ones that you're gonna use in Avalara Pro. So if you notice, I changed my date because it was showing August and my invoice was done, I think it was done last night. So I can go back and I can review all my transactions within Avalara, and we can run different, I don't know, I can see the document status, the document code, the customer, if I don't recall which invoice was, if I wanted to review a specific tax for a specific country. So I want to just see the previous months, this month, or the year up to date, or the 3 years to date. So that's one of the benefits that we see in Tax Connect. And if you remember, one of my invoice was 5,000,004, and now it's in Avalara. As I said, I have many invoices that are just, that I create the invoices, but I haven't performed the posting process. Therefore, they are gonna be shown here as uncommitted. Once I post the invoice, it's gonna show committed. So now you can review in Avalara all the details about that invoice that you generate, and you can see all the information for that. So it's exactly the same. So it matches, and we are 100% linked. And that's how Avalara and Avalara Epic or Tax Connect work together. I'm gonna jump now to share quickly to show you how the cert capture process work. In this case, I'm gonna use a PowerPoint presentation because I had some let's say problems with my system. So it's better if I show you this using a PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Okay. So I hope you can see the cert capture. Yes. Let me close this one so I ensure that you see it. Okay. So once again, do you remember that we did in our demo, we checked this box for us to enable the cert capture. And basically what we are gonna do after that, we are going to send our customers, all customers, to Avalara. So you don't have to go to Avalara and key in the customers or customer directly in Avalara and then come back to Kinetic and do the same. What we are do, it's once we create the customer, we are gonna link those customers to Avalara and we are gonna send them directly to Avalara. So we are gonna have the same information in both systems. Another thing, so you can see here when I send it, I validate that the customer already, it already exists in Avalara after complete that process. Another thing that we introduce in this with the solution, it's basically I'm going to request to Avalara to send me a certificate invite. Previously, without the cert capture, what you have to do was to go to Avalara, upload or create your certificate, then come back to Kinetic and enter the details. Now you won't do that. What you're gonna do, it's going to select the request certificate invite, and that one, it's gonna be sent to your email. In my case, of course, they send it to my Epicor email. And it's the email that it's in the customer maintenance information. So, in seconds, you're gonna receive this email, which includes your cert invite. And you're gonna click here and you're gonna enter that information that is needed for your exemption certificate. What type of certificate is, I don't know, something that you use to donate some goods, or maybe it's the tax is not applicable, any kind of details that makes this exception or tax exception certificate. In this case, I create one for Minnesota. It's an exemption certificate because it's a non-resident for sales tax and expire on December in the future. So this is how we are gonna create a certificate. As I said, basically when I click on that email to that link, it's going to send me to Avalara for me to create, based on my needs, the certificate. Once again, I'm gonna create a sales order as I usually do. That process doesn't change. Similar that the one that I showed you a few minutes ago. We are once again to go to the tax detail to check, in this case, the tax that was calculated from Minnesota to Washington. And I'm gonna go to the Tax Connect little menu, and I'm going to ask to my system that I want to see my certificate. And once I click there, I have a pop-up or a slide panel is going to pop up, and you're gonna see this view certificate. When I click on that view certificate, what I'm gonna see is the certificate, the physical certificate, exactly the same that I have in Avalara. So if you see, I have my sales order linked to the certificate. So everything is in one single place. I don't have the certificates in Avalara and the transactions in Kinetic. Now they are linked. So whenever, I mean, somebody comes to me and asks me for a specific certificate for this sales order or other sales order, I just need to go to the sales order, click on view certificate, and the certificate, it's gonna be there. And so that's it. So this is the two solutions that we have in Kinetic with Avalara, and I hope you can use them. If you have any question, please enter them in the chat, and I will be answering those in a minute. Thank you so much for watching this demo and presentation.